From the front of your mat, inhale and sweep the arms up overhead, reaching for the sky. With the exhalation, swan dive all the way down into standing forward bend, with the knees bent and the fingertips on the floor. Take several breaths. With an inhalation, step both feet all the way back into downward facing dog. And take 4 or 5 full deep breaths. With an inhalation, float the chest forward so the shoulders come over the hands into what looks like the top of a push-up, plank pose. Make sure the hips are not sinking lower than the shoulders. On an exhalation, lower down to the floor slowly with the heart leading the way. If you need extra support, you can touch your knees down and then the chest. Otherwise, the chest should be the first thing to touch the ground. Lie on your belly and enjoy the sound of your breath, encouraging yourself to relax fully for 10 or more breaths. Soften the body completely, especially your face and your hands. Let the waves of the breath wash over you, melting you into the floor. Enjoy your breath. Lying on your belly, place the forehead on the floor and the hands on either side of your chest, the thumbs in line with the bottom of your sternum, fingers spread wide. Inhale to stretch your shoulders and heart forward toward the front of the mat and lift the shoulders up away from the floor, more onto the back. Exhale and soften your face. With the following inhalation, lift the head and curl it back. As you curl the head back, lift the hands 1/2 inch off the floor and hover them there so the entire stretch is coming from the muscles of the back instead of from the arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades onto the back. Inhale and see if you can curl back more. With every in-breath, fill the heart and expand it forward and open. With every out-breath, soften the skin of your face and the back of your neck. Hold for 4 or more breaths. Don't forget to smile. It helps. Exhale to return back to your belly. Lying on your stomach with your forehead on the floor, we'll now do flying locust or Shala Baksana. Clasp your hands behind your back with the fingers interlaced and the palms facing one another. Start with the elbows bent and pointing to the sky. Inhale to lift the shoulders up away from the floor and onto your back. Keeping the arm muscles engaged, inhale and draw the throat and the head back to lift the chest into a back bend. Extend back through the arms so they straighten more and the hands stretch back towards your feet. With every inhalation, curl the head back and expand the heart open and free. The feet can even float up off the floor and stretch back as you soar through the sky. Exhale to return to the ground. Place your hands on either side of the chest, and from your belly, push back onto all fours. Keeping the hands wide apart, bring the feet together so the big toes are touching one another and the tops of the feet are on the floor. Stick your butt out towards your feet and stretch the hips back toward the heels, sinking them as low toward the feet as you can. Once the hips are close to the heels, melt your heart and forehead toward the floor. If it reaches, rest the forehead on the ground and bend the elbows slightly so the shoulders are comfortable. With every exhalation, allow the hips to become heavier toward the heels. After several deep, slow breaths, you can draw the hands in under the shoulders to slowly press yourself back up onto all fours. If you cannot reach your hands to interlace the fingers behind the back, you can use a belt as a hand extender. Hold the belt behind your back with the knuckles pointing backward toward your feet and your thumbs facing away from each other. Lift your shoulders onto your back with the shoulders squeezing back. On an inhalation, lift the head up and back and stretch back into Shala. Staying with your breath, begin to extend the arms down toward the feet, holding steady with the hands on the strap. Exhale to release back to the floor. From all fours, slide your right knee forward on the floor until it is between your hands. Flex your right foot by lifting and spreading your toes, and then slide it over toward your left leg until it is on the outside of your left thigh. Walk your left knee back until you begin to feel a distinctive burning stretch in your right hip, and then bow forward onto your elbows for Ekapada Rajakapotasana, or Pigeon Pose. Keep your hips square. Do not sit over onto your right hip. Breathe deeply into the area of the stretch. To increase the intensity of this pose, extend back through your left heel so that your knee lifts up off the floor and stretch the left leg straight. To come out, either draw the right knee back onto all fours or simply sit over onto your right hip and swing the legs around. Repeat on the second side. Don't forget to smile as you listen to your breath. Laughing at yourself, some in this one, is always good for lightening the mood. If this position is not possible for you because you feel pain in your knee or have a restriction of movement in the knee, you can do Eye of the Needle pose, Sukirandrasana, instead. Lie on your back, bend your knees, and plant your feet on the floor. Cross your right ankle over your left knee and flex your right foot by lifting and spreading the toes. Resist the knee down away from your head until you feel a stretch in your right hip. To increase the stretch, interlace your fingers behind the left thigh and draw it in toward your belly. Breathe into the tightest part of the stretch. Be sure not to lose the flex in the right foot, as this protects and supports the knee. Repeat on the second side, following the same instructions. Keep the toes lifting and spreading. Resist the knee down away from the head. And then if you like, you can draw the right thigh in toward your chest.